everybody doing? I hope you have your libations at hand. I hope you have your libations. Hope you have everything you need. Again, because a lot of people aren't receiving notifications, you can always just check my Twitter. I try to tweet it out and Facebook it out to a few places, but just in case you haven't been receiving it, how's everybody doing, fam? Get your libations together. Please hit the like button if you are so inclined, cause you know monies. If you want to donate brown.com or patreon.com/ycarnell, but you can always subscribe. Please make sure you've checked to hit that bell. And hit the like button, and those things are important. They are very, very, very important, family. Got too many notebooks, so that one's got to go there. Fam, listen, we got a lot to talk about. A lot of little strange stuff is going on, and a lot of people are still behaving very badly. It is an awful, awful thing to see. And today we're gonna do the mailbag again. We're gonna have just a couple of little things from the YouTube comments. Didn't quite make sense. It's gonna lead us into something else. But, Some people, fam, some people are still misbehaving. I mean, we have as ADOS, we have told people, like, what to do, what our initiative is, and reparations and a transformative black agenda, and people still jump in front and do crazy stuff. And it seems that there's no way to stop them. They have like this God complex, right? So today I'm on Twitter, minding my own business, and I see this in a tweet. Now I want you to, those of you who are in here, we're going to pay particular attention to this particular little letter that went out. And it said, Diddy and Charlamagne, let me give y'all a context. Diddy and Charlamagne have are calling on Biden to have a black woman as VP. Now, they are kind of making demands, if you will. Now, I want you to notice a few things about this letter as we go on. I want you to know a few things about this letter. First of all, this letter is kind of, I don't know if you can tell, but this isn't really kind of the font. It don't even really have, it doesn't even really have any kind of intro. It doesn't really have any heading like concerned Negroes, concerned 100 Negroes, and it don't have nothing. Somebody just got on the Word document and did the thing. Now, let's pay a little bit of attention, fam, to what it says, because we have to be very particular in what we do. As someone who has said throughout the campaign that VP Biden needs to choose a black woman VP, the urgency for that pick has gone from something that should happen. They done capitalized the word in the midst of what's supposed to be a very professional letter. Something that should happen to something that has to happen. This is not Twitter. We do not operate that way. You let language speak for you. Thesaurus is your friend. Hiring a PR person is your friend. All that money, and this is the best you can do. But let me continue. I have gone too far already. It disgusts us that's how you approach somebody. It disgusts us that black women are not being vetted in this VP process, but unfairly treated and scrutinized. Doesn't mean should there be a comma right there. But let's go on. This is supposed to be a very professional thing, not a tweet. Was Joe Biden labeled as too ambitious because he ran for president 3 times? Should President Obama not have made him the VP because he had to worry about his loyalty when he clearly had ambitions to be president himself? Why does Senator Kamala Harris have to show remorse for questioning Biden's previous stance on integrated busing? Let me ask y'all something. Never mind, I'll get to that in a second. During a Democratic primary debate, have Democratic Party leaders, allies, or donors ever required Joe Biden to show remorse for the 1986, 1988 anti-drug bills, which established mandatory minimum sentencing and subsequently crack cocaine sentencing disparities, and by his own admission led to mass incarceration? What about the 1994 crime bill? Let's be clear about the kind of remorse and reckoning that matters in 2020 when the black community is still suffering the consequences of these oppressive measures. That's true. But let's go on. So black women are the only ones required to stay in their place and show remorse, even question their own oppression. This is kind of weirdly worded. Let's just go through it. For too long, black women have been asked to do everything from rally the troops to risk their lives for the Democratic Party with no acknowledgement, no respect, no visibility, and certainly not enough support. More than 700 black women signed on to a letter demanding a black woman VP, and we black men stand in solidarity with them. Failing to select a black woman in 2020 means you will lose the election. You will lose the election. The Negroes are telling you, and I'm going to show you what Negroes are telling you. You're going to lose the election. We don't want to choose between the lesser of two evils. And we don't want to vote for the devil we know versus the devil we don't, because we are tired of voting for devils, period. In solidarity. All right. And we got a lot of names here. Sean Diddy Combs, Charlamagne, William Barber, Will Packer, Reverend Jamal Bryant, Eddie Escalade even signed on. Derek, Chuck Bone, Osaro, Evan Ross. I don't know why we care what he thinking. Who is he? He just a little Donna Rothschild. Is that who that is? Who is I don't even know half of these people. Do y'all know half of these people? Omari Book Night or something like that? Nick Cannon signed on. Let me see what else we got here. I wonder if he could get away from his penance long enough to sign on. There was some little rappers on here too. Let me see. Hold on. Al B. Sure signed on, y'all. Who else? I thought it was some people on here with names like Little. Jerry JB Smooth Brooks. Mark Anthony Neal signed on to this thing. Akon signed on, y'all. Ty Dolla Sign signed on you. You know you got to do it when the dollar sign on, child. All these people done signed on. They done signed on saying they done had enough. It's too much. They done said they done had enough. It's too much. And they call. Now let me just go to one thing. You talk about what black women have experienced, right? And you talk about specifically Kamala. This is a play for Kamala. Let me just say something. We all know her record and her background. It was Kamala and Susan Rice, right? And I just don't think that the women that they're speaking about are the same, are like Kamala in the sense of what they're experiencing. Listen, black women in this country are about to experience a tsunami in terms of evictions. Like a lot of other people, but especially us, right? So stop pretending that Kamala is like us or any other woman that's on the short list for VP. That is not the same thing. In solidarity with who, sir and ma'am? You act like this is all the same kind of black. And I'm not talking about the Brahmin and the Indian right now, although that's important. I'm talking about your experiences in life. I'm talking about you have lived a very, very, very kind of a different kind of life, Kamala. And even the runner-up for VP. Remember they were talking about, what was it, Susan Rice? Life ain't the same. Life is not the same. I have no issue with you having whatever kind of influence, but I have an issue with all this going back and forth. Like you finna represent black women right now. Now you finna do it. And we need a black woman to feel the pain of black women. No. I don't even know how your name even got in there. Your child was so he got boxed up or something or punched out. I don't know. He got punched on or mollywopped or something like that. He got mollywopped over there trying to support Trump in the thing. Now I don't even know how you in the running. You know you apples fall from trees and don't fall far, whatever the saying goes. I don't even know what you was doing. I have no idea what's going on here. You can't do the comb over with when you got the Negro hair in you like that. It's not gonna work. But that's not even the issue. The issue is, it's not the same thing. You have led this kind of affluent life, and then you want to come back and say you representing the sisterhood. And I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. When you talk about it, like I'm not talking to Susan Rice. As far as I know, is ADOS. If she ain't, tell me something different. So it's not like I'm just going at her because of this. No, this ain't the same thing. Y'all lead different lives now. Y'all got to learn to start, tell the truth and shame the devil. Black women need to be heard. Susan Rice got heard when she was, national security, whatever. And then before that, she was U.S. ambassador. What you mean? You think she's going to be the voice of black women? You work with Obama, who was the first black president, and y'all didn't do nothing worthwhile for Negroes. I don't even know what's going on. I don't even know what this letter was about. And before we get to the even more important thing, the most important thing is this. You want to know what black women need? The same thing black women need is what black men need. We need a black agenda. So instead of rallying for a black agenda, you all rally for black tokenism. Who told you what we needed was more tokenism? Who told you, hey, this is what y'all do. This sounds very familiar. You know who else did this? We've been seeing a lot of this. Folks who say I was smoking and drinking, and I decided I came up with a plan, and y'all don't want me. And if I was Jay-Z, you understand, maybe some of y'all would come along, but y'all don't want to come along because it's me, and I'm T.I. But you know what I'm saying? It's like I'm what you got. That's what I am. That's what I do. I think of things when I be smoking and drinking. I be thinking of things. That's what we. That's kind of. That's what we relegated to. What you do, what you say when you be smoking and you be drinking, and what you come up with, and so we gotta follow it because that's who you are. I'm telling you, these people have delusions of grandeur, not just grandeur. None of this stuff makes no sense. They just go around and appoint themselves kings and queens of everything. How? Well, I'm what you got. You really ain't got nothing else. You know, I'm the king of the South. Rap music? We're not talking about anything serious. And so you got all these people done signed on this thing. Like, I wouldn't even put my name on this stuff. I don't know why I see some serious names on this thing. Would you just... Listen, it's unserious. Not even that. It's stupid. Let's just call it what it is. This is stupid. You send this little letter in like regular font. Y'all didn't even put it up, and you send it, and it looks like the font is too close together, and you make a demand of somebody. What power do you have? What power do you have? Any kind of grassroots organizing effect where you can get people out or get people to vote a different way? What you gonna do? What you gonna do if he get the governor of Michigan? What you gonna do? What's your game plan when you make your demand and your demand don't go right? I just want to know, because you're talking a whole lot of trash. I want to know what the plan B is. Because this isn't even how you do it. You don't do it by saying what somebody got to do. You make a case for why it's the right thing to do and the right direction to go. Now, I'm in favor of an agenda, not just tokenism, because I think the one thing that we have seen is that tokenism don't work. But if you want to do that, you got to make a case for it. You can't just say, well, we done decided amongst ourselves, amongst the community of men and women who is respectable Negroes, we have decided what we want to see. You understand me? That's not the way it works. This is stupid. And I don't understand why non-stupid people keep getting pressured into doing stupid things. Not getting on no letter with these people talking all this dumb stuff. Just jokes. Not professional. Not even like, y'all didn't even have a back with a bunch of signatures. You just had a back with names typed. Who typed this? Who threw this together? Who thought about this while drinking and smoking one night before and said, I'm going to tell you what we going to do. You understand me? We going to get everybody. I'm going to call, hey, I feel for the assistant of these people. Whoever came up with this dumb idea has an assistant who had to run around for however long to get this stuff going. You know, this stuff don't make no sense. It don't make no sense. It didn't make no sense when T.I. was carrying on something terrible. It's just, and this whole letter right here, it just reeks of desperation. You don't ever want to look desperate. And let me tell you something else before we move on to the next thing we got to talk about. Let me tell you something else. We could have had that. We could have had some leverage. But y'all didn't say nothing. Y'all didn't say not a doggone thing. In South Carolina, when Clyburn had his fish fry, and everybody dropped out of the race so Biden could have it, and Clyburn pulled all them strings, and he said, oh, you know, Joe, you brought some nice butter biscuits today. They look moist. Ooh, you got some new kind of flowers. It's self-rising. These look all right. I'm going to tell you these when I get home. Y'all didn't say nothing. That's the moment to apply leverage and say, listen, you're not getting South Carolina. You're not getting nothing else. You're not getting nothing unless we get you to co-sign on our agenda. And the heartbeat of that agenda is reparations. Not no, well, he's not opposed to signing on to HR 40. No. We need more than that. No. We need more than that. We got a firm number. Commit to it. Got a whole black agenda up. ADOS101.com. Commit to it. Well, he not opposed to doing that. He. Wait a minute. Clyburn done fried all them fish, and that's all you got? You ain't got nothing in exchange for that except for y'all gonna do the right thing? So you got most of black America already convinced. All we gotta do is just get Trump out of there. Getting Trump out of there is now our reparation. We just gotta get Trump out. That's all we gotta do. And so y'all come now with this little raggedy letter, and you think these people gonna take it seriously because they know you can't do nothing. And let me tell you another reason why they know you can't do nothing. Let's just be honest about it. They know what the polls already look like. See, if you were going to do something, you need to make sure the polls were going to run close. That means you would have to push back against Biden early. And he would have to say, oh, I'm real tight. I'm in a tight race. I'm in a tight race in all these states. So I got to do something for the Negroes because the Negroes ain't feeling me. That's what he would have to do. Now, people are already saying, well, we might be the swing vote. Oh, might not. But it looks like he got it in the bag. Right? And there's some good articles why this might not be like Clinton. Like people, and even I said, well, maybe. No. There's some very good articles that like he's Trump right now. Anything could happen, but Trump's running behind. Way behind. You see what, Georgia, Iowa? That's the only way. Like, look at this. Like, let's go down a little bit further. Look at all that blue. He's running too far ahead. It's too far. You're not going to be able to catch him. Barring something happens, and we don't know what's going to happen. I'm not saying anything don't happen between now and then. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying all these people with their God complex do not understand that he don't need you. He can get, what's her name? Meg Whitmer, something out of Michigan. He can get the governor of Michigan. He don't need, you have put yourselves in a position where you're not needed because you have already said, oh yeah, we just got to go get you. We got to get Trump out of there. That's what it is. That's what it got to be. And we got some biscuits. How many biscuits you want? Look at this. You see they even talking. They always talk about Georgia, but that's kind of fool's gold in a lot of ways. But as Trump falters, Democrats and Biden eye an elusive prize, Texas. They saying we might get some extra stuff. Anything could happen. I'm not saying it can't, but I'm just saying this ain't the moment where he's running high to be talking about I got a demand and you ain't gonna win. You don't know enough to know whether or not the man gonna win. We got a president right now who is letting coronavirus run wild around America. You don't know whether or not he gonna win. You don't know enough to be like, you ain't gonna win. Polls, Biden leads Trump in Pennsylvania and Wisconsin. Battleground. Biden told you I ain't coming outside. I ain't got to come outside and I ain't coming outside. I'm old. COVID take people out. I'm not coming outside. I got this wrapped up. Within the margin of error, but don't look good. Who would handle these are two very big battleground. We talking battleground. Who would handle the coronavirus outbreak better? Pennsylvania, they got him up by 10, more than 10 in Wisconsin in terms of Biden. That's what we talking about. Now, same thing. Choice for president, concerned about coronavirus. Very concerned? Not at all concerned. How important is Biden's VP choice? Now look at this. We know America is still mostly white, so why don't you look at this? Look at the go from very to not at all important. Ain't nobody, listen, ain't nobody moved. Ain't these people gonna just fall out if Kamala's not VP? Ain't nobody gonna fall out. Very important. 17 in Pennsylvania, 18 in Wisconsin. Not at all. 43 in Pennsylvania, 41 in Wisconsin. I don't know who has been talking to people and making them believe stuff that's not true. These people have this weird little God complex. Well, you're not gonna win because I said it. And I done spoke a lot of stuff into the life of the world through my music. Oh, what you talking about? Who wrote this? Who did this? And those of you on that letter who are serious people, who made y'all do this? Who told y'all had to be pressured by celebrity to do some stuff that's stupid? It don't make no sense. So much in this life just don't make no sense. None of these, like it's not even like the black women that we mentioned are anchored in black politics. And it's like they are the Fannie Lou Hamers of our day. And so you would say you want them, or we want them because of who they are and the politics that they have done in black politics. So we're pushing for them and not necessarily a tokenism way. They have a history. as a black woman of standing up for black women and black people. And that's their timeline, that's their biography, that's their resume. You don't even have that. Y'all just threw some melanin in the room and said, hey, do that. No. I don't know about everybody. I'm not interested. I'm interested in whether or not Biden has a transformative black agenda, and I don't really see it. And even if I did, I don't trust him to actually do it, given the fact that he's Jim Crow Joe. I trust people that old. Like, when I say that old, I mean, if you have more years behind you than in front of you, I trust you to do what you've already done, because it's much easier to follow the groove you've already made in your life than to create a new groove. So I expect you to still be Jim Crow Joe. When we have a bunch of people out here because of coronavirus with no jobs and nothing to do, and they are protesting and rioting and because they don't have no jobs, I expect you to lock them up. And I expect Kamala, the top cop of California, to help you lock them up. Is what it is. I expect y'all to lock up ADOS people together, because y'all good at that. Y'all are actually a perfect team. It's just not a good team for me and my people. That's just what it is. Ain't nothing else I can do about that. It's just this thing just reeks of like the weirdest and oddest kind of, I don't know whether you want to call it like performative politics or desperation. I don't know. You don't need policy. You need a black VP. Let me tell you who's king right now. You know what's king right now? COVID is king. And the sense of COVID is making all these people lose their jobs and stuff. It's not just a tokenism. Tokenism is not king or queen. Nor should it be. It is what it is. It is what it is. And I think Antonio Moore is going to have a powerful interview tomorrow. Check his timeline on Twitter for more on that. That's kind of going to go to Kamala and why she's so problematic for ADOS in particular and Black America in general. So just check that out if you get a chance. Just go to his Twitter and you can check that out at Tone Talks. But I want to say something else, because I hope this is the end of that. You know, last week we spoke about Beyonce and the elevation of us needing to feel like we're something else, and like us to feel like, you know, we have to kind of get over this idea that in terms of our own learning and understanding, that we can't learn on our own, and we need celebrities to kind of explain stuff to us, right? Or make us feel that we need to be anchored in Africanness. Because it's all part of the same strain of celebrity in terms of what they understand or what we assume they understand and what they don't understand. You know, I think wasn't it Malcolm X that said no other community like follows celebrities and has celebrities as like political leaders. Now they can augment, but like you're not the leader of a thing. You just don't jump out front and be like, I'm all you got. You know what I'm saying? I'm all you got. Who am I? I'm all you got. You ain't got nothing else other than that. You understand me? What kind of pimp? If you don't get somewhere and sit yourself down, we got a lot of stuff other than you. We been had stuff other than you. Y'all just here cause of COVID. Y'all would be somewhat splashing diamond rings and on vacation with your big pinky rings if it wasn't. You just here now because you got COVID and stuff going on, and you just sitting around thinking you got too much time on your hand. You got ADHD. Read a book. That'll help you get rid of that ADHD where you just want to run around and sit down. The only thing that can keep you still is alcohol and weed. Sit down. That's all you got to do. Now I want to go to something else, because we were talking about, let's just tie the line up. You remember last week we talked about celebrities. Let's go all the way through. We're going to go to the mailbag, but I just want to, well, let's just go to the mailbag real quick, and then we'll explain it all within the mailbag kind of context. So let's take a break, and let's go to the mailbag real quick, because the mailbag is important. Got to go to the mailbag. Now, family, let's just, I want to just, because sometimes I like to do that. Just go to something real quick. Because people say a lot of things in the comments they would never say to your face. But that's fine. I don't rightly care. But I think it's interesting because I'm going to talk about, because it was so many comments on the last thing. I'm going to just keep this thread going just for a second to show you something else that shows me why the last caller Wednesday night was right about what she said. I believe. I ain't got no evidence. I ain't got no proof. I ain't got no smoking gun. But why I think she was right about the Beyonce Black is King being kind of a continuation of a rollout and an integration of ADOS music with this kind of Afro beats music and pop and stuff like that. So, but let me go to this comment first. Mailbag time, family. Put a crown on Yvette's dusty head. I wonder who has more influence, Beyonce or this female with the funny haircut. Well, it's Woody Woodpecker though. Why are people mad with Woody Woodpecker? Africa is rising. Nigeria is predicted to become a superpower. At the same time, African Americans are projected to be worth a median of $0. LOL. We will see much more of this as the power moves to the motherland. You have absolutely nothing to offer. When Africa wins, even you will switch sides. You sad hater. And let me just say, family, that was one of the funnier ones. But let me just say something. There was a great article on Quartz about how Nigeria has the highest income inequality, I think, outside of only, what was it? India, I think. You have the highest income inequality, virtually no infrastructure. People live on, when you say income inequality, you have how many people live on like less than $1 a day. Your leaders are among the most corrupt, who buy themselves opulence, right? And Western goods, right? Show and starve their own people. Now, America has a lot to answer for and a lot to be embarrassed about. And a lot of that has to do with ADOS. And a lot of that has to do with what they do in the rest of the world as well. Right? In terms of their adventures, America's adventures abroad, if you will. But child, I don't know why you think that that what I just described don't look like rising to me. Ain't nobody worried. Ain't nobody worried. See, because you have to put everything in context. So you say we worth less than $1 or whatever. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. There's a lot of people watching this show and a lot of other stuff, but they still watching this show. Now we have a tsunami of evictions that are about to happen in COVID, so we don't know what happens. But I'm talking about up until this point, like how many, like things are so bad that you don't even have like rich communities that are just gated. You have guards that have to protect y'all from, remember last week I mentioned the bandits? Y'all have the bandits that run into the rich neighborhoods. Listen, we worried about a lot of things. What is so awful about what happens to us as ADOS is that we are poor in a land that requires a lot of milk and honey, and we see a lot of milk and honey. Not in terms of your context. Your context is very different than our context, and we're not worried about you. And those of you who have the opportunity, seem to like to come here. You don't seem to like to necessarily stay there and build up a Nigerian Hollywood, right? So I don't think we're all that worried. Woody Woodpecker ain't worried about nothing you got to say and nothing you got to do. But it takes me into something else, because some people were wondering, well, Yvette, I don't know why you so bothered. It was just art. These are people who don't understand that art always has critics. There are always art critics. Art always has critics. So people, it's just art. Like, you ain't supposed to say nothing about art. Right? One of these days, I'm going to say, my show is art, so y'all will shut up. Well, let me just say something. So you wonder, well, what can come out of this? So remember the person, let's go all the way back to Wednesday of last week. Somebody called in and said this was a rollout. The last call of the show. If y'all don't remember, go to Wednesday show. The last call of the show said this is about bringing Afro beats here. So right after that, and you've seen this a while. So right after that, I see this. Through this album, I think it's important for Africa to be heard, Diddy said. Diddy executive produced Burna Boy's new album, Twice as Tall. That's a Nigerian artist, right? So she said this is a rollout for this kind of integration of Afro beats and African artists into America, and an opportunity kind of for them to to kind of be black capitalists or whatever. So then we see this whole rollout. You said what you said. She said some stuff, and I thought about it. And then I see this. And it's not just on his Revolt TV. There's a New York Times article, right? What Burna Boy. That's his name, Burna Boy. Let me bring this a little bit bigger. Sean Combs on Burna Boy. He doesn't care about crossing over, He's not trying to get hot. He's not like, I want to be a big pop star. He's already a star. He wants his music to be heard. And his message, his people. Burna Boy. All right. Now, well, Yvette, I don't understand why that's problematic. I don't understand why Burna Boy is problematic. Do y'all remember there was a Negro at the BET Awards, and I didn't know who he was, and I didn't pay him no attention because he's not important to me. But he said some silly stuff a while back about Africa and you ain't nothing or nobody or something. I'm gonna get into it. This is the one that they bringing over here. That's the Burna Boy. So this is something that he said too. Let's get into it. He said, Afrobeat superstar Burna Boy says brothers in the U.S. have been stripped of their knowledge of self. Now, this is who Diddy is bringing over here. Now, he's on one hand, he's putting out a message saying you need a black woman VP. On the other hand, he's bringing Burna Boy. I don't know why he's bringing Burna Boy, but let's get into what Burna Boy had to say, because we're gonna find out that Burna Boy ain't got a lot in common with us. He got a lot of stupid stuff to say. So let's get into it. At the start of last year, he was outraged that his name was too small on the poster for Coachella. I am an African giant and will not be reduced to whatever that teeny writing says, he wrote on Instagram. By the end, Barack Obama had included his track Anybody on his Best Songs of 2009 playlist. Beyonce had called on him to provide a track for her smash hit Lion King soundtrack, and the African giant had been nominated at the Grammys for Best World Music Album. The only way we can move forward is if we all know that Africa is our home and make sure our home is a place of respect. Burna Boy, but I can't say that right. Burna Boy believes there's something deeper at work when it comes to his popularity in the UK. Pay attention to this, fam. They're going to tell us we lost again. Most of the people from the UK, if not all the black people from the UK and the people of color, they know where they're from, he says. They know exactly where their roots are. Right? Now here we go. Hold on one second, fam. Let me get this exactly right. This makes it easier for people to tune into his wavelength. It took longer for his music to find an audience in the U.S. This, he says, is the consequence of African Americans not having the same close connection with Africa. Unfortunately, the brothers and sisters in the U.S. have been stripped of their whole knowledge of self. So it's a bit harder for them, When he collaborated with the U.S. rappers YG and Future, he said he was bringing my brothers home. Listen, I don't even know how anybody could kind of. You make yourself small and you make your lineage small by deciding that you want to do music with him. Bring who home, sir? We are home. How many times have I have to tell y'all? Even immigrants who come here from other places after 4 generations decide like America's home. Yeah, I'm here. My people were here. We've been here much longer than that and got people telling they're going to bring us home. I don't even think he's 30 years old talking about he's bringing somebody home. He trying to, how do y'all let him son y'all like this? Grown people. Grown men. He found himself through us, through American hip hop, and he's going to tell you that you got to come home. And we can't have no home until we realize Africa is home. You don't get served. You come here as a guest. You don't get to tell nobody nothing. You don't know enough to tell nobody nothing about anything or what we need to come. You should just shut up. If you want this little Afrobeat stuff to pick up around here. You don't know when to hush. You loudmouth. Now, let me just say this. I remember this quote, but I didn't know who it was from. So here it goes. When in June this year he won a BET Award for Best International Male, he used the moment to make a point about Africa, colonialism, and Black Lives Matter. I like to use this opportunity to say that sometime around 1835, there was a mission to turn Africa into a dominated nation. Africa, a nation, a dominated nation? That a nation? Okay, anyway, he said after being congratulated by Naomi Campbell via video link, now is the time to overturn that and go back to the royalty that we were. Because in order for Black lives to matter, Africa must matter. Y'all remember that? In order for Black lives to matter, Africa must matter. Now, let me tell you something. I have a problem with anybody who centers the continent of Africa. So my life in America does not matter and cannot matter until the 54 countries in Africa have something or lives that matter. No, sir. Regardless of what's going on wherever in the world, my life has to matter and the life of my people have to matter because we built this country. I don't look to you. You are not my God. You are not my Messiah. You are not my king. You are not my queen. This is why the Beyonce stuff is a problem. Because when he gets here, he centers himself and he centers where he's from. Listen, I would never go to Nigeria and say in order for Nigeria to matter, ADOS must matter. It's disrespectful. Y'all don't even know enough. Y'all sit there and listen to this mess. You don't even know enough to know when you're being disrespected in your house. It's like somebody coming and sitting at your dining room table and disrespecting you and telling you the food don't taste good. And unless my stomach is full, ain't nobody's stomach gonna be full. Your meal don't matter unless I have a good meal. No, our lives matter regardless. We don't owe you a debt. We were sold here. We weren't captured in the night, like Root said. We were sold away. I owe you nothing. Now, I wish you all the best. And we have all kind of alliances with the Black immigrants who come here and live here. And some we don't. Some are allies and some are enemies. But we don't owe you anything, though. You just come here. Like, think about how disrespectful it is to come here and center a whole continent and say, like, your life doesn't matter if African lives don't matter. What the hell? What you mean? Where'd that come from? Now, if that don't take the cake away, listen to this. Every Black person should please remember that you were Africans before you became anything else. Who are you? Who are you to tell me who I am? See, that's the thing we've always allowed people to tell us our identity. And it's like I said last show, when we came here, when we were sold here by collaborators, your people collaborated with white enslavers, right? When you collaborated, you made us something else. And even genetically, you have very few 100% pure ADOS because of rape and even some intermarriage, a whole lot of other stuff because you sold us over here. Now, I'm not saying every African. I'm not talking about that. But I'm just saying we became a new thing. I don't have to remember anything. I don't need to. I just need to do what we've always done is teach y'all how to fight. You don't fight good enough. You know, we have fought here. It's 14% of the population. From slaves to people who can sit and talk to computers. We don't have what we deserve and we keep fighting for it. But we are still here. We know how to fight. I need to teach you how to do that. Because y'all still, your government still is still puppets for Western government. So maybe we should teach you something. Don't come here telling me nothing. You came into our house to get an award that our house gives. You sit in our living room and you kicked over the sofa. And we so confused, we don't even know that you kicked over the sofa. You don't get to do it. That's disrespectful. Don't come into my house and be disrespectful and tell me that nothing matters unless you matter. Because you're not really talking about Africa. Because you are part of an elite group. And we'll get into that in a second. You're not really talking about the poor in Africa. You're talking about the elite. And you're talking about how you have to matter. And like, I'm anchored in you. And every Black person should remember that you were Africans before you became anything else. Listen, if Africa started civilization, you said to white people. You said to anybody. No, I don't have to remember anything. You're not the boss of anybody. I don't care if you call yourself African giant. It don't matter to me. You could call yourself anything. African bear, African giant, African I don't care. It don't come here trying to sun me. See, listen, let me go to the next quote. And I remember these quotes too. I feel like the only way we can move forward is if we all know that this is our home, and we make sure our home is a place that is respected. Once everybody respects your home, then they know you have no choice, but they have no choice but to respect you. He says the problem is worse for black people in America. Yeah, you because you can't demand respect in a place where they don't believe that you belong. What? Nobody, listen, we have demanded respect. Sir, have you heard of Frederick Douglass? Sir, have you heard of Fannie Lou Hamer? Sir, have you heard of Ella Baker? Sir, have you heard of Martin Luther King? You are disrespecting our legacy. We have demanded it. And look who taught you how to do your thing. When he was a little older, he fell in love with U.S. rappers such as Naughty by Nature, DMX, Big Pun, Busta Rhymes via his uncle. Like, American hip hop created you. Understand something. If I wouldn't even discuss it this way, but if you want to, you're our child, not the other way around. See, the whole world, when they decide they want to have a freedom struggle, they look to our freedom struggle. When you're talking about culture and beats, it took a long time for you to look to your own stuff. You look to us first. Why? Nah, y'all don't want to talk about how much of the heartbeat we are and what we created through what we lived through. Our music is different. It's different because of what we lived through. It's not saying no better, no worse, but that stuff resonated you for a reason. It resonated with you, and that was your archetype for a reason. This heartbeat is the heartbeat of ADOS, and ADOS is different than every other thing. No better, no worse, but it's different because, and you could feel like that heartbeat is different. That's why wherever you were, you felt it differently, and you were son. These were your fathers. Show some respect to your fathers. Not the other way around. We're not anchored in you. It looks to me like you anchored in us. You don't get to come here to an award show and tell me how to be and what to think. That's not how any of this works. Now understand, he doesn't even understand our oppression. Wonder why. He says, he described his, he did dance hall of Abuja Bantan too, but I'm just saying. He described his upbringing as being not too rich and not too poor, but it's fair to say it was comfortable. His father worked in construction while his mother was a translator for the West African Chambers of Commerce. She is affluent. She is fluent in French, Italian, and German. Meanwhile, his maternal grandfather managed Fela Kuti's career. This kid is affluent. This kid is affluent. He had a silver spoon in his mouth talking to us about what we need to be and motherland and all this stuff. Shut up. You have no idea what our struggle looks like. And you don't care. And this is what you let into the room when you have people tell you that dumb stuff. Yeah, we just gotta, you right, he right. Kings and queens. Kings and queens and peasants. His fans include, well, I read that. I think I said I read that. Okay, wait. There was something in here though. Yeah, he was in the Lion King, The Gift, which has become the visual Black is King. There was another quote though. He wears interesting clothes though. Give him that much. Diddy once. Where'd he grow up, y'all? Hip hop, reggae, R&B, and rock and roll were all part of the mix of music Burna Boy grew up on in Port Harcourt, the southern Nigerian city where he was born, and then in London, where he spent some of his teenage years in Brixton before returning to Nigeria. Oh, he grew up in Nigeria and London. Nigeria and London, that's where he grew up. This child been traveling. He done lived the life of Riley trying to paint himself. And here he goes. He wants all the countries and cultures of Africa to unite at one continent. This is fantastical foolishness. I want my children to have an African passport, not a Nigerian passport, he said. I do not identify with any tribe. I do not identify with any country. I do not identify with anything, really. Yeah, but one of your videos, what kind of flags is them? It's easy to say that, but what kind of flags is them? Don't let nobody tell y'all they don't identify with country. They always do. They always do. And that's kind of why, fam, honestly, this has always been a kind of fantastical confusion. See, you don't let nobody see. You don't let anybody come and tell you what you need to do. I remember how hard they clapped at the BET Awards. And you're kind of letting this person force you or convince you or suggest to you that you should anchor yourselves in being somewhere else. Now, let me tell you the danger of that politically. The danger of that politically is you don't feel that you have to do anything in terms of American politics because you don't feel like you're even American. You feel like you're African, right? And Africa is 54 countries, so you don't even know. You so crazy. These people done made you so crazy. You don't even know whether you Kenyan or South African or Eritrean or you Congolese. You just know that they told you African and we all African together. They told you some old dumb stuff. It don't make no sense. There's no reason. And there's no reason. Listen, we've had allies call this show before. Every ally understands, yeah, of course you're ADOS. Anybody who says that you aren't ADOS and that we're African, they don't even abide by that. That man got Nigerian flags in the video. He know he Nigerian. He know that. He say some old stupid stuff. Nobody believes this stuff. Everybody knows if they're Kenyan or whatever. They all know, and just like we know we're ADOS. That doesn't necessarily make us necessarily enemies. But don't come over here and tell me what I should be at like 29 years old or something. You sit down and shut up. When you come here, let me tell you about what we went through and what we built and what we did. And don't tell me how I need to be or how I need to feel or how I need to fantasize. My people been fantasizing too long about an Africa that don't exist. If you took my people over, they couldn't exist 30 minutes over there. You know why? We don't understand how westernized we are. We expect for the light to turn on when we get up. We haven't lived no other way. We haven't lived with generators. Even in the ghetto, if you pay your power bill, the light come on. Stop telling us we gotta go somewhere. We don't live like that. We're poor. Yes, but we're American poor, which means we don't have what we deserve. We are a plundered group, but that's still an American poverty. We don't know how to exist. We don't know how to do nothing else. We don't know how to get up and stuff don't turn on. People talk real tough until you get over there and stuff don't turn on, and then people want to collapse. Yes, because we don't want to admit that we're westernized. We built the whole country and you want me to abdicate my country and say that, nothing matters until Africa matters. Let me deal with my business. You deal with yours. You deal with your little silver spoon and I deal with what I have to, in the fight we have to wage over here. You don't know that life. You're not built for that. I understand. I understand that you weren't built for the life we had to leave. So you don't understand. I understand. But be respectful when you step into our house. I know some of y'all don't think it's our house. Y'all think it's like purple lipstick. You think it's a transient country, right? It's not. We built it and we own it. If you say we don't, we're going to have a problem with you. You don't get to come in here and tell me and preach to me. I wouldn't do that to you. I'm respectful of you. I would never do that to you. What right have you to do that to me? And so this whole rollout comes after Beyonce's Black is King, and now we finna introduce him. Oh, whatever. Somebody was in the comments about that's not Yvette. That's not meant for us. That's not. It was in the New York Times. What do you mean it's not an American rollout? Diddy was tweeting and retweeting it. What do you mean it's not meant to be here? The way we are behaving and acting don't make no sense. We are the people here who created the path for everybody else who came here, black and brown. Listen, don't tell me nothing. Don't tell me nothing. You don't get to tell me nothing. You haven't been a part of this struggle. You were in London, in Brixton. You don't get to tell me no king and queen tale. I ain't interested. And that's something we ain't never told nobody when they come and tell us about the kings and queens. Just cut them off. I ain't interested. It's all good. Go do your thing. No disrespect. Go do your thing. I ain't interested in your king and queen talk because I know the real deal. Africans in every country are people just like people anywhere else in the world. Just like people in Germany or people in Britain or people in Norway. They're just people. They wear jeans and tennis shoes or whatever. Ain't no kings and queens. Spare me that. Now, I know that some people who come from kings and queens, which means you might come from slave traders, but I don't want to hear that story either because it's not a good story for me. So I'm going to let it go right there, fam. We at about the hour mark, so I'm going to let it go right there so we can bring in some calls and have the conversation. Had to cut it off kind of quick because, these people they really work my nerves. But let me just bring in some calls. I'll set it up as usual. Give me 3 or 4 minutes and we will have the conversation. All right, fam, we are back and we are going straight into the phones. I am going first to 269. 269, what's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind? You there? What's going on? How you doing?
Hi, Yvette. This is Tatiana. I'm calling from the great state of Michigan.
Ah, how you doing?
Home to Grant Whitmer. We're doing all right. So I have a simple question for you. I wanted to see who you think Biden should pick as VP.
What, you asking me who I think is from my perspective, or just politically who I think he might pick, right? Well, you know what? Like, that's an interesting question. And I really don't have an answer because I don't like any of the choices.
That's what I was gathering. So I was like, I wonder,
because they narrowed it. Because let me just say this: they narrowed it down to a group that I'm kind of not happy with. If I were him, I'd probably pick your governor, because we put him in a position where he really doesn't need us, right? Because he already got us, so he can just go and pick something that makes white women happy, right? And get them to turn out, and we're gonna turn out anyway, because that's what we've shown to him. So I'm in a position where I don't like any of the people that are like top tier, so who are shortlisted for VP. So just like I don't like who's shortlisted for president in terms of, I don't like Biden. So
right. So you would pick Gretchen if you can start fresh.
If I could start fresh?
I'm so sorry. Like, see, that's if you weren't pared down to his options, you would stick with Gretchen.
But see, the problem is nobody else did what I needed them to do. I needed people to come full force on reparations. The only person who came close to that was Marianne Williamson. I thought Elizabeth Warren was going to do it because she came out talking about redlining, but she never would go far enough in terms of, or even far at all in terms of reparations. So like nobody did. See, I don't get in terms of the person. I'm asking like who has selected my agenda items. This reparations. The black agenda has reparations as a heartbeat. It has to be the heartbeat of a black agenda. And like nobody ever went there. So they put me in a position. I didn't put myself there where I can't select any of them because I'm serious about hanging on to what is important to our community.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's very clear, straightforward. Well, thank you.
No
thank
problem.
you, Beth.
No problem. Thank you for calling in. I appreciate it. Yeah.
No problem.
You know, that's the thing. I'm just an agenda-driven person, and so like, you know, I had an idea of who I thought may be more inclined to kind of accept and jump on board with our agenda, but that didn't happen. If it didn't happen and it don't happen, you're just not going to get my vote. And it's going to be Democratic down ballot. I didn't make it not happen. All you had to do was do that. And we've been saying it forever. We made it a part of the whole platform. And made it a part of all the debates since ADOS. We did that as a group. We pushed that, and they still decided not to do it. So I'm not going to change. I'm not going to just run to you. Well, we got to do something. Oh Lord, Trump. I'm not going to do that. Not in terms of the top of the ticket. I'm going to vote down ballot all those people. But no, I'm not. No, I'm not doing that. So anyway, fam, I'm going to the next caller, 703. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hello.
Hey, 703. What's going on?
Oh, hi. Listen, this is my first time ever calling anywhere, and I want to say thank you so much, Yvette. You have been dragging me by my hair since the Obama days to come into the light and understand what's going on. And I was fighting you the whole entire time. Oh, please don't talk bad about Obama.
Don't fight it. Don't fight it. Don't fight it.
What I want to also do is apologize to our people today. I'm 57. Okay. When Roots came out in 77, we were all in front of the television watching the Roots for 7 days. They brainwashed us into believing that we came from Africa. So we told our grandparents and everybody, look, we didn't come from here. We came from Africa. Y'all don't know what y'all talking about. Hollywood then told us we came from Africa. So by the time it all came out, Jesse was trying to get us to go to be African, and that's how we got African American. Because we said, hey, everybody comes from somewhere. We come from nowhere. We're black. Let's call ourselves African American. So that's how we got African American. So now here they are with this black king. They're doing the same thing again, trying to pull us from our country, our United States of America, that we died for, we enslaved for, we built. They're trying to pull us like we have no history. We have nothing here. They're trying to pull us back to Africa again. When we probably haven't been there, maybe we got here 1600s, or we got here when the pyramids in South America got built. So we just don't know. And it is not for that cutie pie Burna, whoever he is, to tell us who we are. We know who we are. And I don't appreciate, being told that we need to go back to Africa again, and we need to continue to educate our kids about our heritage and how we are here, technically. Not Africa.
Thank you, fam. I appreciate your call. I'm gonna try to get through some calls, but I appreciate you calling in. And listen, let me just say, I'm not gonna get into it here first, but let me just say the slave ships exist. So we know that there was a slave trade, and we were traded by whom and to whom too, right? And that's what I'm trying to address. I'm not getting into the who necessarily was here and how many were here before the slave trade. I'm not gonna get into that. But what I'm talking about is that trade, right? And so what they do is they kind of, what is so disrespectful is that in every conversation they center Africa. Like I've never been in, and I went to Howard, I went to school with a lot of Africans, had African friends from different countries. I have never, and this is, I'm in America, but if I go in a room and a bunch of y'all are talking about something that happened where you're from or whatever, I'm not going to go in that room and still we're in America and Central America. I'm just not trained to be that disrespectful, right? It's just not who I am. I'm not a disrespectful person. So, you know, I'm just not gonna do that. I'm just not going to do that. And so I don't know how else to explain it to anyone else, like how disrespectful this is. I don't know. And so even when you look at, like, it's funny, like even when you look at the pictures of this guy, like Burna Boy or whatever it is, like all of, like, so much of this stuff that you're doing is like with the teeth and everything. It's built on American hip hop. Like, you don't understand that we built you? Do you all not understand that, like, you know, I've had so many Nigerian friends and stuff like that. Like, like, for so long, locks and long hair has been frowned upon. As a man, you're supposed to, like, have a clean cut hair. It's not Jamaica. It's not the same thing. Like, we have taken locks, you know, from Jamaica. We haven't taken anything from y'all. We didn't want it. And I don't think people understand, like, how does somebody who with these teeth and everything about you screams, you know, hip hop, which is ghetto in the streets, in terms of, it used to be like the kind of CNN of the streets, it was called, because it talked about what happened to black people in the streets in America in terms of the police and all that kind of stuff. You're our child in that sense, in terms of the music. Like, so much of who you are is us. You've painted yourself as us, and then you're going to come and tell us what to be and how to be the thing. It just doesn't work that way. It just doesn't work that way. And I don't know. So, fam, let me go to my next call. I am going to 857. I'm coming to you. 857. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
My name is Bennett. I'm calling from Massachusetts. And when you showed that list of people who demanded Joe Biden pick up Black BP, I don't understand when it comes to Charlamagne and P. Diddy, you know, Diddy, whatever his name is. It seems like they're like Siamese twins. They're like always together or attached. I don't know. It's like they're just one person. I mean, I'm sorry. I know they're two individuals, but every time I see them or read about it, it's like they're always Siamese twins. They're always stuck together. And for this vulnerable, I can't pronounce the guy's name. Sorry. If he had done his homework, he would have known that England, Great Britain, UK, whatever they call themselves now, was part of the Atlantic slave trader. So for him to talk about the UK side of him, it's just ridiculous. Huh?
Yeah. He said the people in the UK know. Do you know what the UK did? Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Carla. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Kind of crazy. Wait a minute. All right, fam. I'm going to 310. 310, what's going on?
What's up, y'all? I'm going to keep it quick. The first thing I'm going to say is, you know, it's an interesting time because, you know, tomorrow I'm going to interview Cherie Peoples. I think that's her name. Excuse me if I got it wrong. It's on my Twitter. I'm going to interview her. She's from Huff Clothes. Great article about truancy laws and the impact those had on her life. She's the cover story on that Huffington Post piece. Please tune in tomorrow, 4:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And the truancy laws are something that Kamala created. Kamala Harris being the lead candidate for the vice presidential nomination.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how Puff Daddy, Charlamagne, Dan July, Alicia Garza reconcile this woman. She's going to tell you, because she talked to me earlier, the way this destroyed her life. The fact that it was not criminalized until Kamala made it her mission to criminalize it. The main argument of Kamala Harris being she looked around and a lot of the criminals were high school dropouts. So her answer was, I'm going to criminalize them not going to school. Not that I'm going to do policy or deal with wealth or reparations. I'm going to criminalize them not going to school as the answer. It still shows her lack of understanding of America. From slavery to mass incarceration to crack and everything else. And it shows why this black woman thing makes no sense. So that's tomorrow. And then the other thing I want to say, you know, Yvette, you know something else interesting about your point? You know, I went to South Africa, and one thing that I picked up very early is like we don't even have an anchor for the way that they it's not even love. They have a godlike look into our hip hop. Like it was a very weird kind of like almost praising of you know Dr. Dre, and that and I'm saying that not out of disrespect. I'm saying that out of when we see that look that man has projected, we see it through the lens of the South. We see it through the lens of the East Coast that we understand. But what we don't see is how does somebody who goes to London and gets all that, you know, end up looking like that? Well, he packs himself that way. And I'm not saying they don't have some kind of cultural nuance, but I would love to see the connection lines. I would love to see that didn't come from the Deep South, that he didn't paint himself in that look. Now, the second thing I'll say is, understand that we've already talked about how stupid it is to talk about Africa. Africa's got a economy. When stuff happened in Mexico, I don't bring it up. It's in North America, but I don't bring it up. It's in Mexico. Africa is a continent. Stop telling me about Africa. That's stupid. Burna Boy can say it. Anybody can say it. You are stupid for saying Africa. Africa is a continent. Tell me about Nigeria. Nigeria, and that's it. When something happened in South Africa, Ethiopia, or Somalia, I don't want you to bring it up, Burna Boy, because it is not your homeland. Your homeland is Nigeria. Now, the thing that's a con about it all, right? They're telling us not to be African American when we built America. Right? They become British America. What is it? Black Brits? In one generation. So they can become Black Brits in one generation, but we're not African American in 10.
Ooh, speak on it.
Built the country. So what they're doing is just curving the ball wherever they need it to be to make themselves have privilege and advantage. I come back to what I posted on my Twitter about Daniel Kaluuya. Daniel Kaluuya's parents are Ugandan. They went to have him. That is not our narrative. We did not voluntarily immigrate here. In addition, London had existed long before Daniel Kaluuya's parents. We built this place. The very statement of talking about us as African American and them as Black British gives equivalency that was deserved. They did not build Britain. They did not build London. Their bodies are not the bones that sit under the cities that are there. That is why you're not on TV. You don't have a story here to be on TV. So we say that let's bring it back to Burna Boy. We say that inside of this whole narrative of Burna Boy saying all of Africa. Go tell the person in South Africa that you own South Africa and see how they react to you as a Nigerian. Then come back and tell me that we all African. You know what they're going to say. Get up out of here.
They already saying that. Thank you, thank you, Antonio. Yeah, you know that's the truth. Like they will call themselves. They will get to Britain, and the next they call themselves Black Brits. Well, I'm a Black Brit. Wait a minute, you just was born here. Like your mama had you here, Kaluuya, but I'm a Black Brit. But we can't be Black Americans. You still want us to be African, right? And but I don't see you saying that to anybody else. It's only us, and it's only because everybody, fam, I've said this before, but I'm going to say it again before we go to the next call. Everybody tries to manipulate our lostness. It's even right-wingers in this country. People try to, and it just hasn't worked because we know they racist. But like everybody tries to manipulate how Americans are lost, right? And Americans look at us as kings and queens. I'm going to tell you, well, you have to center us, right? Because this is the royalty. The royalty is in Africa. It's not in America. And they don't want you there. And the idea that we're going to just go cry, oh, Lord, they don't want me. Oh, Lord, he right. Africa got to come first. If y'all don't wake up and realize what's going on, what did the Black immigrant ally who had to call in here the other week and say, like, America's still the best place for Black people? No, sometimes somebody's just trying to fill your slide. Anyway, let me go to the next call. I am going to 919. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hello, Yvette. My name is Paul Emmanuel. I am calling from Chapel Hill, North Carolina.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. Love what you're doing. What you and Antonio do is so important.
Thank you.
What I want to say is,
as an American descendant of slaves and having lived in 3 of the major metropolitan centers on the East Coast, I have had a variety of friendships with people from all over the world. Exclusively during my conversations with Africans, they have, when I have identified as an African American in the past, they would always gently remind me, not in an abrasive way, that I was not African. And I think it's important what you do, and that we must learn as American descendants of slavery to gently remind them that they are not ADOS. And ADOS is a distinct lineage, and it is the connection that we were striving for when many of us were claiming to be African American. Our connection, our collective consciousness is as American descendants of slaves, and if you are not that, then you have no rightful claim to any demand that we are making for reparations. Thank you.
Thank you, fam. And I would add to that, you don't get to tell me what to do. I'm not Nigerian. I can't tell you what to do. I don't know enough about colonization, and I don't know. I'm not going to pretend to. I'm not going to pretend to. When you come in the room and you start talking about that, I'm going to be quiet because I don't know. And my people didn't suffer from that. We have a whole different thing. But in America, like he said, I'm going to gently remind you that you're not ADOS. And not being ADOS means you don't get to tell me what to do. You are a Nigerian star, pop star. Heck, I got a lot to say about my own American stars. Lord knows I'm not listening to somebody who was brought here. Or you came here, you come here and just step in here disrespectful. You really believe that I am an African giant stuff, don't you? Heck, I don't respect American giants. I know I'm not going to respect any other kind of giants. What you mean? What you doing? What you thinking? Anyway, let me go to the next call. I am going to 985. 985, what's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind? Oh, 985 fell off. Let me see. 214. 214, what's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hey, Yvette. It's Nikki from Dallas.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Pretty good.
Hey, ADOS fam. So, I was in a support group that my sis Nietzsche X, who is a huge ADOS supporter, created for her followers. And a woman came into the group for the first time. We've been in this group for months now. And she was what you would call, and I'm putting quotes, African American. But she came into the group for the first time, and all she wanted to tell her, the first word that came out of her mouth was that she had a successful business, very successful business for 20 years, and that she's traveled the world, and she's lived in the UK, and she wants to talk to us about repatriating to Africa. And I couldn't believe that this woman, she tried to take over the entire 2-hour meeting, or Zoom meeting, talking about repatriation to Africa. And so I stepped in and I told her, I had to tell her that that's not feasible, for one. Most of us, Black American, ADOS, and I made sure to say it out loud for her, American descendants of slavery, first of all, don't have any money to travel in the country that they live in, much less leave the country and go to a continent. And I had to remind her that Africa is a continent. It's not a country. Mm-hmm. And I received a lot of pushback. And a few of the people in the group, they kind of sided with her. But I didn't find out till later on that most of the group sided with what I had to say. But the point is that, she said, I don't understand why we don't, speaking of Black Americans, why we don't have passports. And I started to notice something.
You don't go nowhere. What you mean? Well, you don't understand being Black in America then, you goofball.
I'm sorry?
I said, well, she doesn't understand, she doesn't understand what it means to be ADOS then, to be tethered to the bottom in America, if you don't understand we don't have a passport.
That's what I told her. I said, you don't understand why we don't have a passport. If you don't understand why we don't have a passport, I don't understand what you understand about Africa so much in comparison, right? If you don't understand that much. And I had to explain to her also that she kept saying, well, we need to go back to Africa to find ourselves. And I had to explain to her, if you can't find yourself here in America, in the country that our ancestors were in before it was even a country, the country that we actually built and created on our back, I said, if you can't find yourself with the generations of ancestors that you have right here buried in this ground, in this country, then you're not going to find yourself over there. And I had to also explain, because I had to leave the group at some point, and I had to let
good
some of the group members know why I left the group, because I never do that. But I had to leave the group that day because I knew that I would only be confrontational throughout the whole thing. So I just left. I said what I had to say. I said my piece and I left. But it's this thing. I feel like these people that are insistent upon us going back to Africa, they actually are dealing with self-hate. Okay? And they want us to hate ourselves too. They want us to hate ourselves so much that we have to leave this country and go to a whole other continent, apparently to search for ourselves, to look for ourselves. And I think that's what it's based in. I think that they don't see the beauty in ADOS.
Yeah.
They don't see the strength and courage in ADOS. And they're searching for it in some unknown place. And what they don't understand is, she hasn't even gone to live there yet. For you to be telling other people they need to get a passport and leave and go to Africa, you haven't lived there yet. And it's crazy to me to hear someone tell someone that when you have no idea what it's like to live in a third world country. Because let's be clear, there are cities that are built up in certain African countries, and some of them may even be better cities than some of the cities here in America. But the majority of that country is poor, is living poor. So you're telling people to go there. What are they going to do for work? What are they going to do for land? How are they going to maneuver living in a country where the electricity is turned off for many hours in the day, where there may not be running hot water? How are you going to adjust to the diet over there? She's talking about, we need to go build gardens and things like that. Even if you're a green thumb
here. You ain't got to go over there to build a garden.
You're not going to be a green thumb there. The ground is different. The soil is different. The climates are different. You have to literally learn everything like you're a baby from scratch. Like you would have to learn everything. And then you don't know the language. So you don't know if you're being scammed. It's so many things. And I hate when people say this, but they omit all of the other things.
Well, let me just say this. There was a woman. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
There was a woman online. I don't know her name. If y'all know her name, let me know. But she had moved to Ghana, and she's ADOS, and she was so confused and discombobulated. If y'all know that lady, tell her to come off from over there before she kill herself, because she was discombobulated and said she was having run-ins a little bit with people, and she didn't understand stuff, and stuff was going on, and she don't understand why it's not working out, and she was so stressed out, and she was doing her video blogs, and I said to myself, we need to stop doing all these blogs and stuff and buy a ticket. Sometimes you just gotta let it go. Get a ghost up, because this ain't gonna work. Because we as ADOS don't want to understand. Like I just said, we're westernized, and that doesn't mean it's good. We're not saying that's better, but that's who we are. Sometimes a fact is just a fact. We're American. That's who we are. Stop acting like I'm an African in America. Shut up. Like, this is who you are. And so when you go there, you're gonna have a tremendous amount of culture shock. And then if you don't have some type of work from home job, you're going to be competition to the people who live there. How do you expect that to kind of go over with them, right? And then when you go to places, remember the year of return, family. All the people who were there for the year of return said that, like, I was treated like an American. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's like people expect you to have money. You're American. You're not black. You're not just like, we family. You're American. So when you go out, I'm interested in the dollar. This is a tourism thing. It's a tourism industry. I'm not treated like family. I'm treated like any other kind of European or American visitor to come there. That's what this is about. And so you get there and you expect a family reunion and you get treated like a Western tourist and you're surprised. But you are a Western tourist. That's who you are.
That's right. And actually, I've heard stories that they actually treat the European tourists better than they treat the Black American tourists. So, it doesn't make any sense. It is for her to even say, oh, I have a friend. You have a friend, just one, that's over there, but you feel the need to come into a group that's already been established and try to push this agenda. And that's what it is. It's an agenda. And I'm starting to see it in different people, and I'm starting to look at the people who are pushing this. And a lot of them have these bourgeoisie, ideals of what life is supposed to be. And they feel that they can't be that here. So they want to go be that there. And I hear them talking a lot about the ones who've gone to visit. Oh, I was whatever. I don't know what they do over there. It's knighting. I don't know. But they all talk about coming back princes.
Yeah, somebody put a thing on your head, child. Child, somebody told you was a prince. They had a little ceremony. I saw Boyce Watkins did that. He had a little ceremony on the beach, told him he was a prince or a king. Yes. Child, you little goofy child.
His low neck having so.
Stop it.
I couldn't deal. But thank you for taking my call.
Thank you, fam. No, I appreciate it. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Family.
Thank you, fam. I appreciate it. Yeah, y'all gotta stop doing that. They know we feel lost. So we're gonna come over here and we're gonna make them kings and queens and put little crowns on their heads and feathers and stuff, and they're gonna like it. They're gonna spend a lot of money because they're gonna feel at home. They're gonna start to cry and blather and stuff. If you don't get yourself together, I slap somebody. Get yourself together right now. Don't you keep crying over here for what? What you crying for? And you go to I'm gonna grow up. Listen, if you're gonna relocate, just relocate. You don't have to tell us to try to get a group together. Go do your thing and call us and tell us how you doing and whatever. And if it goes bad, then don't call us. If something happened or something, then you got to keep that to yourself now. But, if it's going good and you got a garden, send us pictures of your garden. That's wonderful. If you got a garden wherever you are in West Africa or somewhere, one of them countries, knock yourself out. You ain't got to have friends to go with you. Just go on. We're not stopping nobody. We're not stopping nobody from doing nothing now. All right, I'm going to 412. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hey, man, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
All right. Yeah, I'm sitting there laughing just at the whole conversation because, you ever know how racists say, why don't you black folks go back to Africa? And now we got the Africans telling us, why don't we go back to Africa? But they steadily coming over here. It's insane, and I just laugh about it because I talked to a guy from Nigeria on my job, and I asked him, why are you here? Why are you here? You're from Nigeria, He says, for opportunity. And I say to him, but they're telling me to go over there for opportunity, And he's like, but there is none over there, so I have to come over here. So I'm like, what is going on, and it's just so confusing to us, as ADOS, we're getting one message, we get another message from another people, so, but I know I'm not, like I always say, I'm not leaving. Hey, America, love it, hate it, I ain't leaving. I'm sorry, but, it's just crazy, and I was watching the program, Sunday. They had an African young boy. He was a ballet dancer, and he was dancing in the mud.
I saw that.
And I'm like, wow, poor kid and all that. Then they showed the backstory. He got a dance teacher at school, and of course they put it over here. Now he's getting the money, and they calling for him. I'm like, this is a con. This is another African con.
But he won the white people. The white people were like, what if he could go? I saw it on somebody's white page, and she was like, what if this young man had the opportunity to go to Juilliard? He would be so good if he could just get out of the mud and go to Juilliard. I was like, you look crazy, American white lady.
I laugh. I said, this is such a big con. And when it comes to Beyonce and then this Burna boy, I was thinking about it, and I was like, they're not making the money that they used to make here in America with the music. Times are so hard. so they're trying to go international and go over and get money in the mother country. But they know the money isn't here. They're tapped out here.
And not only that, like American stars are expecting a certain amount of money, right? In terms of like, so if you do this with Burna Boy and then like, oh, Diddy's working with Burna Boy or this person or Beyonce and them, then there's other talent. I'm sure. I'm not dismissing the talent that exists in African countries, but like even like if you think desperation amongst ADOS in terms of going into hip hop is something, wait till you see people in underdeveloped countries, right? See some money or some opportunity. They can really kind of make a play at being capitalist because they will have like this group that doesn't have anything that they can kind of pull from. So there are a lot of plays that could be made here that are problematic for me because I don't want to see anybody be taken advantage of. I'm not talking about Burna Boy because he's got his money. I'm talking about what comes out of that relationship.
Right. They'll all be chasing the bag and they'll be willing to sell out anybody and anything just to get it. So, it's all insane, but, this is America.
Yeah. Thank you, fam. Yeah, this is America.
We're home. We ain't going nowhere. The ones that really know what's going on, they ain't going over to Africa. They staying right here.
Yep, they ain't going. Yeah, he gonna
burn.
He gonna be here. He gonna be in London, or he gonna be in his mansion. He has a Ferrari and a Rolls Royce and some other cars a Bentley that he has as well. So, child, you ain't really leading. You ain't never really lived a poverty African life. So you need to hush talking to me because you had
don't be like the young lady who has the YouTube channel. When you see the real deal over there in Ghana, wherever she's at, just he's running down the street.
It's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of stuff that goes on in other countries that we don't want to acknowledge. It's not about who's responsible. It's not about diminishing the country. It's just like we don't understand that it's not some kind of utopia that we've painted in our heads.
Correct.
So, thank you, fam. I appreciate it.
That's the thing.
Thank
Wakanda
you.
Is not.
Oh, sorry. Well, yeah, he was right though. Wakanda is not a thing, and even you find even people in African countries saying that, like, stop the Wakandanization of Africa, and they're right. Stop this stuff. Enough is enough. Stop this. We people. We normal people that live normal lives. Stop like dressing us up in like animal skin. And that stuff is disrespectful. And I agree. They regular like anybody you find anybody else, any other place in the world. Stop doing that to them. I agree. That's disrespectful too. All right, I'm going to 267. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind? 267, you there? Hello? 267.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Hi, Yvette. My name is Ify. I haven't called in a long time. I'm calling from Philadelphia. I figured I'd be the one, hopefully, immigrant ally. I'm a Nigerian immigrant.
Okay.
And you have made me laugh all night tonight. I love you so much. I hope my daughter is just like you. She's half ADOS and half me.
Okay.
I hope she's more of the ADOS than me.
Okay.
Everything you have said is exactly true. I come from a privileged background, which is why I was able to come to America. Most of us who are here, as you've said many times, come from that background. Burna Boy is one of them. The fact that his mother can speak 4 or 5 languages, that means her parents were able to pay millions of naira in Nigeria for her to go to school. And his age and her age, that's wealth that has been around for a minute. So that whole I'm just middle class, that's bold-faced lie. They have money, and that's why he's able to live in London and Nigeria and then come over here. One thing I want a lot of my ADOS veterans to realize is a lot of us Nigerians especially are jealous. It's a deep-seated jealousy and envy, and it borders on, it's not even borders, it's turned into something ugly and evil. Y'all should make sure very clearly state and create those boundaries, ADOS versus non-ADOS, because Nigerians will be the first one in line. If there's ever reparations, that when it does happen and they put just black and they make it skin color, Nigerians will be the first ones in line claiming all kinds of blackness so they can get some money.
The amount of things that a lot of us do just to get here and be legit is, I'm sure you guys have heard a lot of the stories, is atrocious. The triple marriages, lies, all kinds of stuff. I was lucky. My father just brought us here for opportunity, and things went smoothly. But my story is not the norm. The norm is all kinds of nonsense and back channeling and all kinds of stuff just to get that green card. So the people who are doing that and then out the other corner of their mouth telling you something is wrong with where you're from, you don't know where you're from, it's all bogus. They don't know where they're from. Nigerians are lost people. Please do not let any Nigerian tell you they know where they're from and all that. It's a lost country. It's a failed state. That's all I have
but
Thank you, Yvette.
But let me just ask you this, friend. Like, what are they jealous of? Just the fact, like, that we're American? Like, what is the deep-seated jealousy that says you become something else? What is that based on? Because we ain't done nothing to you. You know what I mean? Like, to like a Nigerian.
America is the land of plenty. America. Not only that, their ancestors, the Yorubas and the Igbos mostly, if you look at Nigerian history, their ancestors sold their people, and they were supposed to be dead. They were not supposed to live. Generations after all that you have been through, Ethios has been through, you have built a country that is the beacon for the rest of the world. Your culture is a beacon for the rest of the world. Your social activism, your fight for justice and equality is a beacon for the rest of the world. That is powerful. They can never say that. Look at South Africa. They fought for apartheid for how many years? Yeah. The white people still there. They couldn't even take the land away from the white people. They trying to make it work. What is it, little DJ skeet, and it's not really working. This country, 13-14% black population. Look where how far you've come. Look what you're making this whole world take a seat and pay attention. I'm sorry if I'm not saying the phrase
no, you're
right.
Fine. Yeah.
But that's where the power is. They will never be like that. So here they're gonna come and try to take what they can and try to make like, oh, I got something, I'm something. No, there is nothing. Nigeria is, I can't say the word S-H-I-T. It's really S-H-I-T. I still have friends over there fighting to come over here. They denied her several times. She's trying to go through Canada. A lot of people trying to go through Canada to come over here. We need better immigration laws. Now, I made it here. I'm not trying to cut it off for other people, but we need, I consider myself an American, we need to make sure folks who are coming here to contribute and are coming here to help with what's going on. Not coming here to take from people who have long deserved what they have not gotten. At least that's what I be telling my people. And I can't tell a lot of Nigerians. I really can't. We are a troubled group of people. So please, do not take any of them seriously. Let me tell you that rubbish about we know where we're from, we hear, and listen to us. Like, just tell them to shut the bleep up.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And you know what's funny? People always think that immigrants have a certain view, or people who immigrated here, have parents who immigrated here, have a certain view on immigration. No, some of the people who immigrated here, or who have parents who immigrated here, are some of the first people who will say, like, your immigration policy is out of control. Like, it's funny, like, because they kind of see it like, no, you're supposed to have a criteria, though, in terms of your contribution. And you want to become American, not just become something to send money back. You're supposed to want to become, this country and become a part of this country. Like, that's kind of what it is. And I don't, it's funny, like, you can't even say that no more. So.
It is very true. I completely agree with you. Look at, perfect example. I'll speak about Nigeria. Look at Nigeria. Anybody who watches 90 Day Fiancé, y'all see what these white people go through when they go to Nigeria to find their little boyfriends and girlfriends. They tell you if you want to get married, you got to get a witness. You got to kill 50 cows. You got to get somebody's uncle and, auntie, and make sure it's blessed by all the gods and goddesses. And you cannot easily become a Nigerian citizen, even if you marry one. And it's a third world failed country. But they have all the mouth when they choose to fly their little butts over here and be on somebody else's soil that they did not create, instead of sitting in a corner, being grateful and eating their, mac and cheese and whatever new food they want to eat. They want to be. Lovey, for instance, Purple Lips, as you like to call her. I used to watch
She
her
worked
show.
my nerve. That's her name. That's her name forever.
Every time you call her Purple Lips.
That's her name forever.
I know exactly what you're talking about. All of these people, David Kaluuya, all of them, they tried Britain. People even try all the way to Uzbekistan, some remote. So Nigerians are everywhere. They're like roaches. They're everywhere. They're trying to get out.
I'm not calling nobody a roach. I'm not calling nobody a roach or a rat or a varmint. That's the call. But send all hate mail.
This is me. I'm Nigerian American. I said it. Please forgive me, but this is my word. It's not Yvette's word.
Thank you.
We are everywhere trying to get out of a failed state. We have no leg to stand on when it comes to America. We need to buckle up and help fight the fight and, shut the flip up.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate it, ally. I appreciate it. The allies have the best stories. Thank you so much for I appreciate it. Let me tell you, the allies have the best stories. But I think what we need to demand of everybody though is like I can't demand of anybody what I wouldn't demand of us. What I have been demanding of ADOS is that we fight. We continue our freedom struggle that began from inception of us being here. Like y'all gotta fight too. Like this America can't be a place where everybody runs from the fight. Like at a certain point, somebody's gotta stay home and fight. We've been fighting here, but we can't be the resource for the world. Somebody gotta stay home and fight. And so, great call. I appreciate it. And nobody knows the ins and outs better than the allies. So I appreciate y'all being allies and calling in and telling the truth and shaming the devil. So I'm going to the next call. I am going to 916. I'm coming to you. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind? 916, you there?
Sister Yvette.
What's going on, fam?
Can you hear me?
Yep. Turn your background down. Turn your background down for me.
Can you hear me?
Yep, but turn your background down.
Okay. How you doing?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
I was just out there in Connors.
You said what?
I was just out there in Atlanta in Connors.
Okay.
And I went by Gerald's plantation. And I tell you, they trying to hide our history. And the first thing the man wanted to tell us about was Gerald. I don't want to know about Gerald. And you know they still got their house over there, man.
Who house?
Gerald, the plantation owner.
Oh, okay. I know.
Gerald's plantation in Atlanta.
They still got the house? You mean the plantation?
And on the other side of the fence, they got their house still there.
Oh, well, that money still
Yeah.
goes.
So they still living.
Yeah, off the money too. I'm sure they live decent.
Money. Charges and everything. $6 and $4 for the children and
still eating off.
It was just crazy stuff. It was just crazy. And some white people was there with their kids. And I wonder what they was telling their kids.
What was it like though? What you paid and you went in? So what did you see? What was it like when you went in there?
It was just all about Gerald and how they made the syrup and cotton and strung it and how they made the milk and all this, and it wasn't nothing that was about us though. Like,
and it wasn't about the oppression of us. Like we was just farm workers.
Right. Well, there was some houses built. They had a picture. I said, did the slaves build the? No, they was in the field. So it wasn't nothing. Just
yeah. Well, what you're really saying is that it wasn't the truth. Like it's almost as if they had us there as like agricultural workers, and this is how they make the milk, and this is how the cotton is picked, and this is how the farming was done back then. And it's not like, no, these were slaves. And like you are, this is what you're not gonna center the slaves. You're gonna center the farming and the slave master.
Oh, then he tried to tell us, well, we was freed and we came back to work, and then we went to go work for Ford in Detroit. And
ain't that something? And they make it sound like the
I'm like,
slave
you know,
master
I'm
freed it.
ADOS.
Like, like it wasn't like a whole
I'm
war.
ADOS, so you can't tell me this. You probably can tell my family that's with me that's live, but we know what happened. We couldn't go north.
Yeah, fam. Yeah. They just rewrite history and they make it just like, I'm surprised they didn't serve y'all ice cream cones on the way out. Like, have a wonderful day, Negro. Would you like a jar of honey? We got some honeybee honey.
Yeah.
Yep.
I couldn't get no souvenirs, Vet.
No?
I tried to bring some souvenirs back. Everything was about the plantation owners.
Wow, they really centered themselves in the story. Almost kind of like heroes in a way.
Right. They got their big old blue house with the gate around it. I wish they was on the porch.
But let me just say this. You know what? Like, this is why I feel like the Confederates won. Like, they got to keep all their wealth. I mean, they lost it for a minute a little bit, but they had the social capital, so they came back, and they would. And Andrew Johnson was the president, and after Abraham Lincoln got killed, and he gave them all their power back. So, like, what did you really lose? And now you get to like have this whole thing where you're heroic, and you have the house that's still beside the plantation, and you live a wonderful life, still off the backs of the people. Right, who your ancestors enslaved? Like, that's horrible. Like, they should have been ran off.
Yeah.
That's what didn't happen. That's what should have happened. Like, you lost the war. That's what happens. You were traitors and you lost the war. What should have happened didn't happen, and we lived the consequence of that. So, I understand, fam.
Right.
Wild time to be alive.
All right, big sis.
Appreciate it, fam.
All
right, no problem. Thank you. Some wild stuff going on. I'm going to go to what will probably be the last caller of the day. I'm going to 718. 718, what's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Good evening, Yvette. This is Mitchell calling from New Jersey. How are you?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm doing okay. Really enjoyed the show. Like all of them. I'll keep it really, really short. We really need to do something about this slice of the black community that has been supported and undergirded to go out there and pretty much speak all of this nonsense. It's taking the attention away from individuals such as yourself, Antonio, all of the academics, all of the scholars that we have in the community that can bring a real perspective to the conditions that black Americans are dealing with. And for some apparent reason, the T.I.s of the world, the Diddys of the world are using this opportunity to speak in these broad ways when they're so far removed from the lives that black Americans are living. And when they get out there, they're totally making a mockery of the community as a whole, and they have to be removed. Like I really don't know. I mean, what aim do you have with this little letter? Like, you don't have no understanding of how power works in this country. So what? You wrote a letter.
Yeah.
You don't got no power to do nothing. Who you gonna put in office? Like, you have no authority to do that.
You're right,
Just
but you know what it reminded me of?
Dance, rap.
You know what it reminded me of, Sam? It reminded me of something else. Do y'all remember after Nick Cannon said the offensive remarks or whatever about about the Jewish community, and the next day he demanded to have like the wilding out. He demanded to have all rights or something.
Ownership of the company.
Yeah. And the day after that, he was apologizing and going. It's just like you learn the day after that you can't demand. Like, that's not how that stuff works. Who did you think you were? And Puff Daddy was like, come over here, we pay you or whatever. And it's just like he had to learn the hard way. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not agreeing with what he said. What I'm saying is you had to learn the hard way about, like, you don't have the power to demand anything. And I'm sure they let him know that in no uncertain terms. I don't know what everybody's doing. I'll let you finish, fam. I'm sorry.
I don't know either. I really don't. And one final thing that I want to, just share with the family out there, be proud of your lineage. Over the past few months, my family and I have decided to actually start, retracing our history and our legacy in this country. And
challenging, but surprisingly, like, we've been able to access a lot of information.
Okay.
And it seems like with each, stone that I turn over, my sense of pride, increases tenfold. A lot of us will have this, like, feeling that we need to escape, like, the realities of our lives and our history in this country when there's so much pride to take in the resiliency of our people. We've done so much with so little. There is not a group in this country, probably in the whole entire planet, that has survived what we've survived, and we continue to grow, we continue to innovate, and we're still here. We were not supposed to be here.
Nope.
So to all the ADOS family on the call, if you have not done your family history, please take some time and do that and uncover those stories. Your people weren't just whatever, They were resilient people. They were owners. They were builders. And they, unfortunately, were victims. And that's nothing to be ashamed about, because throughout all of it, we're still here.
Yeah.
So don't run. You don't need to run nowhere. Like, where are you running?
No.
You have more than enough in your lineage in this country to walk around with your chest out. Despite everything that we're going through right now, you come from good stock.
Yeah.
You come from good stock, and you should be proud.
Mm-hmm.
So, no, you're not an African in America. You're an American. You're an American, and I understand the relationship with this country and us has not always made us feel like Americans, but we're American.
Yep.
I've been to 10 African countries so far, and every country from North Africa to South Africa to East Africa to West Africa. I haven't done Central Africa. But the common thread that runs through every trip that I've had on the continent has been how I've been acknowledged by the people. They have not looked at me as an African. They identify me as a foreigner, as an American. Period, point blank. So all of this, this talk and this, black is king and this, that everybody is doing, that's all a capitalist trick, man. You're jumping on some sort of bandwagon. It's something to do, so on and so forth. But, like, you come from good stock, ADOS, and you should be proud. I'm proud.
Me too.
And I want to thank you and Tone for what you're doing, and just keep up the good work.
I want to thank you for that call, fam. I appreciate it. You do the same, fam. And I want to let you all know I agree wholeheartedly with him. Like, we're not supposed to be here. And, like, there's nothing to be ashamed of. Like, if you're a victim and you fought and you survived and you still fighting, and like you've had wins, it's not to say that you won the war. The war is still ongoing, but you got real wins as the minority. Like, this is a David and Goliath story. I don't know how people don't understand that. Everybody, when they want to figure out how to fight oppression, they come where? They come and they look at us and, like, what we've been doing over the past 400. I don't know how we thought that story mattered less than something else. Like, no, everybody is like, wow, look at what these Negroes did. And look what they still doing. Like, look at how they survived and they still fighting. They still in the streets fighting. We was just in the streets over George Floyd, rest in peace. We still out there. Like, I mean, I don't think, there are a lot of other groups that would have either gave up or sold out wholly. Now, we got our sellouts, and we got a lot of them, and we deal with them, though. Like, it's not like we've all just become sellouts. We deal with our sellouts. We're trying to. We have enough people who are trying to. We're not trying hard enough, but we're trying to. Like, a lot of people, a lot of cultures and countries have just sold out, and they just all accept that that this group is going to be on the bottom, even people from that group. We don't do that. And I don't think we understand, like, the level of cohesion and the level of, honestly, honor that a lot of us exude. And that doesn't, I know what we talk about in terms of who's in power. We got to change that too, in terms of some people who we got in power who don't do right. But that doesn't change, like, who we are and our legacy and our lineage. And the fact of what the caller said is true. We're not supposed to be here. And we're still here, day in, day out, doing our thing. We were supposed to be used up and thrown away killed or whatever. And that didn't happen, and we still here. It's a miracle every time. I've said this before on this show. It's a miracle every time you can see somebody, you can see an ADOS person walking down the street. It's a miracle if you see somebody that ain't ADOS, because that means that we paved the way for that person to be here. It is a miracle that we can get together on Thanksgiving and like lead lives. And we have to fight for that though, because between COVID and what's happening and racism, we have to continue the freedom struggle that we started in this country. But we know how to do it. And we gonna do it, unlike some people who are just gonna capitulate. We got a lot to be proud of. So that's all I'm gonna say about that, fam. If you didn't get through tonight, I apologize. We will have another show as usual. So fam, please take it easy breezy. Take it real easy breezy. Finish your libation, fam. Finish your libation and get to bed. It's around the midnight hour. So finish your libation. Please hit that like button if you're still here and have not hit it. Hit that like button. Cost you no money. If you hit that bell, if you haven't hit the bell, cost you no money. Subscribe if you have not subscribed to the channel. Also, please, just make sure you hit the like button before you go. If you want to subscribe, you can also go to patreon.com /YCarnell. You can do that as well, right? You can do that as well if you want to do that. You go to donatebrown.com if you want to do that. But hitting that like button is a free way to, support the channel. You can also go to ADOS merch, ADOSmerch.com if you want to buy a shirt. I get to those shirts as quick as possible, but it's COVID. So it's a lot going on around here with that stuff. But anyway, fam, easy breezy. Until next time, please take care of yourself. Don't let nobody work your nerves too bad. You don't want to be stressed in the midst of everything that's going on. Looks like COVID is going to be here for a while, some years maybe. So just take care of yourself. Try to keep your stress level down. And we're going to have some more conversations about all these evictions and Trump's executive order of that's not even constitutional and what's going on. And when we have the election, will we even know before 2021 who becomes president? It's a lot going on. We're going to have to talk about it all. But until next time, fam, take care of yourself, your family, and the people around you. And we are a tribe. We continue to grow. ADOS rising, fam. Take care.